Athletes and fans around the world, welcome to another Primetime Muscle. It is great to have you with us. If you're doing your cardio, kick it up one notch.
Woo!
Put the incline up a little bit. I'm Tim Wilkins.
Kick it up.
Kick it up. The real deal, Chris Cormier, bringing the heat today. What's up?
Let's go, baby. I want to go. Can't wait.
Tara Gilgindi.
Great to be here with you, Tim Wilkins. You look very sharp in blue. I actually like Chris Cormier's outfit.
Thank
Looks
you.
very charming as well.
Thank you. I didn't need a tie because I'm so fly.
You got. Say that one more time.
I didn't need a tie because I'm so fly.
I like it.
What do you guys think?
Oh, God.
Huh? You
Like,
digging the
comment,
fit?
share.
You digging the fit? All right then.
I think it looks good. Chris looks good.
Maroon.
Guys, Chris, let's talk about this because you guys have some familiarity with this. I'm at the point in my prep where I see historic beefs and I'm thinking of food. So there are some athletes. I was talking to Chris earlier. Chris was eating a breakfast burrito.
He wanted to know my ingredients.
What's in it, Chris?
What's in it?
It looks so good.
I said bacon.
There's been some athletes throughout the
Eggs and
years
cheese.
and some coaches that have had some heat between them. Who comes to mind when we start talking about this?
Milos Sarcev
Yeah,
and Samson Dauda.
that's recent.
That's recent. We have Yoda.
Neil
and
Hill.
William Bonek.
William Bonek.
Also relatively recent.
We have, who is it?
Well, we know Chad Nichols and Sean Ray don't get along.
Well, they never really worked together, but there was some tension over the years. It was even more tension actually because Chad didn't like what he said about him and bringing his name up when it came to some unfamiliar and some bad situations that happened. I would say his son even got involved. That got a little hairy. I was there.
Were you there when that all went down in that
I was-
expo?
Instead of separating, he had the phone.
Oh
filming.
yeah, I'm
mean,
I'm like the newbie. I'm like these newbies. I'm bringing my phone up. I'm not helping. The hell? No.
He's like,
getting involved.
those guys
I'm just
are
bringing my phone up.
scrambling. Instead of Chris going there and say, hey, let's head Cooler's Head prevail.
Well,
he's like,
I was for no
guys,
hair,
I'm ready. I'm ready.
No hair pulling, no scratching, none of that.
30 years of history and friendship with Sean, and the first thing you're thinking is world star, world star, just going straight to the internet.
No, I wasn't gonna let anything bad happen. Nothing bad.
yeah.
It was just some chest bumping and gum bumping. That's it. That
But
was it.
you know what? I have a hard time, and I kind of understand your career, your life, the amount of dedication you put in as an athlete. You're really giving a lot of your life to these coaches and hoping that they've got your best interest, that they're the right person for you.
Is some coaches like trying to become stars in the sport on the backs and sweat off of other people? Do you ever feel that?
Oh, I feel like they're trying to make a name for themselves to build their business
Well,
a
give
lot.
me an example, Chris.
It's not about example. It's just that's what I see a lot.
Well,
of.
what do you
well,
see?
when you take a photo, like you got an athlete, he in the front double bicep, hit the front double bicep, buddy.
I'm a physique athlete, but I'll do my
And
best.
then
Oh yeah, yeah.
or this one. I don't know about that.
I get you.
I kind of cringe when I see it because it's like it's about the athlete. The athlete is up there doing the work and eating the food, doing the training. Most of the coaches just writing stuff down on a piece of paper or typing, whatever you're going to call it these days, but not really putting in the work like the workhorse they got. Or is it the genetics? Is it the whatever it is? What are the coaches really doing? I don't know. Are you in the gym with these guys on a daily basis?
Not hardly any
yeah.
of them anymore. It's all virtual.
Oh, yeah,
it's a
virtual.
check-in if you're lucky.
Are you in a posing room with these guys on a daily basis? That's the old school way of training someone for a competition. And it's not so much about the coach, it's about that guy. I mean, I've had my day in the sun, and it's not about me trying to be all in the videos, all dancing with the guys on the stage. Like let them have their shine. That's what I'm about.
I think Chris has a point. The relationship between a coach and a bodybuilder is very unique. It's not a head coach of football. It's not a head coach of basketball. It's one-on-one, two guys. And the expectations are huge because on those final days of preparation, those 3-4 days, that coach can have incredible eyes, can make some final decisions that can make you look better on stage. We all know that. I give credit to Chris when I say Chris is one of the old school trainers. If I was a competitor, I would want to train with my coach. I wouldn't want my trainer to go in and help me with, squats and help me with, the training. I know you don't think that makes people safe, but I do. I do.
Shut up. That's not what I meant.
Okay, so
I didn't mean it like that.
But it's like a marriage. There's great benefits. It's so close. Here comes the expectations.
Here's the difference in a marriage, though, and this is one of my problems I have with a lot of these coaches. You've only got a few people who actually know anything. You've got a top layer of people. You got guys like George Farah, who just had the new documentary Guru, who actually has an education and a background in this stuff. You've got a tier of top-tier bro science, and then you got a whole lot of guys that have done 1 to 5 shows that suddenly have a cadre.
Guesstimating and cookie cuttering and putting stuff together that someone showed them yesterday, and they're using it today as their own.
Well, and the reason I liken that to a marriage is because, that's like my wife asked me a question about something I obviously know nothing about. I'm not going to tell her I know nothing about it. I'm going to give her everything I know and make it up. And then when it doesn't go right, she goes, "What didn't go right? What do you know?" And that's what these athletes are saying to the coaches, and they're not realizing he knows nothing. He took third in a couple of local shows.
And he's guessing.
He's guessing.
Yeah, he's guessing.
I had a trainer a couple of years ago who was working under a guy who was I didn't know he was working 2 guys under some. He's just relatively famous with a big name. And I said, if I wanted that guy, I would have called him. I know him.
But here's the rub, a Shakespearean reference for you guys. I see your point that there's maybe a lot of people out there giving information and they're not fully qualified to give information. But I have a question to both of you. I'm a first-time NPC competitor. I'm going to compete in August. I don't have $700, $1,000, $1,500 to give to a guy like George Farah, Hani Rambod, Kim Odo, and all those. I don't have that money.
You know what you can do?
Can I just finish my point?
Well, that's Leo season. You said
Let
August.
me just finish my point. Maybe you'll learn something in this
You said August, and I
this
thought
miserable life of
you
yours.
said Leo, and I.
You have a competitor that has competed 4 or 5 times, and that competitor has been successful and is charging you $200. What do? I mean, look at the positive. There's a huge demand. And guys like Kimoto, Hani Ramba, George Farah, they can't take 7,000 customers. And all these people that are competing in the NPC 4, 5, 6 times, and all of a sudden they say, hey, I can help you. And there's that first-time NPC competitor. He goes, listen, I've never done it. I can't pay those big guys. But maybe this person that won 3 overalls can tell me that I shouldn't be eating salt in the final day of preparation. I mean, it's a tough position.
Here's what I would suggest, then, Chris. So I MC a ton of shows, have for 25 years. I love when you go there and they give a team award away, or you hear all the people out there with their Team Warrior aesthetics, Team Elite, Team Lolita, and they're cheering, and they've got 10, 12, 15 people in that competition.
Team such and such.
And they're first and second and third. I would go to a show, learn what a show is all about, say I want to do this, and then think of one of those teams and say, all right, I'm going to call these teams and get a feel for the trainers, see what our interaction is like.
I agree with you, Tim.
But also, if you think about how some of these relationships go with some of these coaches, that's where, you have, there's a top tier that everyone knows their name. And like you said, the bro science stuff. But there's also, you also can look into the mirror. You look at the criteria in which you're going to compete in. When you're super hungry. When you're under where you need to be, if you're frail feeling and all that stuff. But you can also look in the mirror and just judge off of that if you don't really have a coach. But I just think the drama between the coaches and the athletes it's not really what the fans want. I think the fans want to see them be their best, do their best, and just root these guys on and be behind these different competitors. But it's not about the coach as much.
At the risk of running along, I got to ask you though, Chris, what is the root of that beef between a judge and a top-tier athlete?
A judge?
Not a judge,
What?
not you.
What is wrong
between
with
a
you?
coach.
Why do you want to
The beef is they
There's
got
not
me
enough
six.
people.
They got me 6 second places at the honor. That's the beef.
So that's the beef.
That's the beef.
Yeah. So not the judge, the coach.
Oh.
The beef between the coach
okay.
and the top-tier
You set
athlete.
me
I
off.
can see your
Yeah.
subconscious.
You set me
Tim.
off.
Hasn't even done that show yet. Go ahead.
I mean, I just think some I don't know if it's I don't know. I think some of the guys like to blame the coach if they don't win first place. They like to blame the coach. The coach is getting a lot of blame. And then here's the thing. You know the show is coming up as an athlete. You know the work you got to put in. You got to put in more than just social media work. There's real work that needs to go down. And you know if you're cheating yourself. In the sport of bodybuilding, you cannot cheat. You cannot cheat yourself because it's going to show. If you didn't do that cardio, if you didn't have those meals right, if you didn't push yourself hard enough in the gym, you're going to see it on the stage. You cannot cheat the sport.
Well, there's no cheating on that, guys, and it's always interesting though to see the drama behind the scenes, what people go through. We've got more drama coming up on Primetime Muscle when we come right back. All right, we're back. We promised you drama. These guys are loaded for bear with this next
Yes.
topic. The greatest amateurs of all time, these guys were eventually pros, but you're saying in their amateur time, they were the greatest.
I'm going to tell you, it's as a judge, it's something very unique to see people turning pro. I vividly remember Cedric, I remember Derek, I remember Nick Walker, I remember these guys turning pro, and it's a special moment in their lives, and then you see them going on to win the Olympia. I usually consider the athletes with two phases of their bodybuilding life. What have you done as an amateur, and what have you done as a professional? Derek Lunsford was a middleweight. He placed second at the USA's. He moved up to light heavy, won his class, wasn't as conditioned, still won the overall. Patrick Moore was the super heavy on that show.
What do you mean it wasn't as conditioned?
He wasn't as conditioned as the previous year
You think?
when he was a middleweight.
When he had no meat on his bones?
I'm talking about conditioning, okay?
He won the overall, dude.
Cedric McMillan, there were pictures. You can win the Olympia and not have a perfect physique. Dorian Yates won the Olympia in 1997 and his biceps was torn. So when you look at me and you tell me, well, he won the
Don't
overall.
bring up my friend again.
That doesn't mean he was perfect. But anyway, going back to the topic.
Anyway.
Before I punch you in the face, jackass. I even lost my train of thought, jackass.
Because you fumbled.
So,
Cedric
anyways,
McMillan.
You fumbled.
Cedric McMillan,
You fumbled.
2009. There were pictures all over the internet. People were calling him the next Lee Haney. There was a picture on the porch where he's hitting a frontal biceps. And sure enough, at the Nationals in Hollywood, Florida, which you know very well, he went on stage and he annihilated the competition. He annihilated the competition. He looked like he was the next Lee Haney.
Really?
And I consider him one of the greatest amateurs because I remember when Brandon Curry, who went on to win the Olympia, he won the overall, red trunks, a
USA.
bit underwhelming. People were like, could have been a bit more conditioned. Let's talk about Chris Cormier. Let's talk about Flex Wheeler going straight to the Arnold and winning. So,
Oh, there we go.
Well, I like this guy, Chris Cormier. That guy, That guy, yeah. He did the damn thing. Teenage champion, teenage Cal, teenage nationals. One, never mind. Anyway, my guy Kevin LeBron, I take it to you. Kevin LeBron was like a mythical legend as an amateur. He had a ponytail at one time, slick back hair. You didn't know he was Kevin LeBron, Kevin LeBroni. You heard all these different names for his last name. You knew he was a black Italian. You were like, okay, so he's living in Maryland. The Maryland Muscle Machine was born. He's in the amateur level. He comes up from I forgot his first show. I don't know what show it was, but he wins the state title, goes to the junior nationals, wins there, beats a guy named Quadzilla.
Oh, yeah.
Quadzilla goes to the nationals. They have the likes of myself, Flex Wheeler, who thought he was going to win it because Flex was already priming to win his pro card. And when I saw Kevin walk into the auditorium, he had his traps coming out of his this boat neck sweater. He had a gray sweater, looks like Mike Tyson coming into the ring. And he's walking, and I see a shadow, and then I see him coming out of the shadows, and it was Kevin LeBron. And I was like, jaw-dropping moment. I saw him, and I was like, okay. I went back to the room, and I said, Flex, I seen Kevin. Let's just forget about this show.
Let's go home.
Let's think about the next one because he already looks like a professional. That's exactly what I told him.
And he won.
It wasn't even a show. He won.
Yeah.
It wasn't even the show yet, but I was like, don't try it. Don't even. And then he was like, really? He's like, you think so? I'm like, he already looks like a pro. Seriously. So he wins the show. Flex, I believe, was second. Third was Quadzilla. Fourth was a guy named Ronnie Coleman. Fifth was Matt Mendenhall.
Wow.
Sixth was a guy named Chicharrillo. And seventh was a guy, Chris Cormier.
Wow.
Wow, what a lineup.
7 guys.
So you're saying Bob Ciccarello
all
has
these
beaten
professionals.
you. Bob has beaten you.
I don't know what Bob did, gave him some extra Italian sandwiches or something to the judges, but they placed him ahead of me that time. And that was the last time.
Yeah.
And I tried to get the natural, I went the natural way, so they were some different
You're a bit
cats.
smaller, right?
But
You kind
I
of
was going
grew
for the
a little
natural
bit.
team because I was trying to I was trying to do the Mr. Universe.
So don't blame the
So me
judges
and-
for the lack of size you presented on stage.
Well, natural being the French word for small. We understand what that means.
Natural.
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 The easiest thing to do nowadays. The judges didn't.
It
You
is
need
the
to,
judges.
look at yourself and check. Did I bring enough mass to the stage? No, I didn't. Did I bring enough conditioning? No, I didn't. Do I have beautiful lines like
Yes,
a guy
I
like
do.
Flex Wheeler? No, I didn't. Why are you blaming
Did
the
they
judges?
did they make the right decision putting me second place 6 years in a row? No, they didn't. Let's go on.
So, what was Phil Heath's journey up through the amateurs?
He won the junior nationals, went to the USA's, black trunks. He did not believe that he was going to win that show.
But let me finish.
He asked me.
But I didn't
Jack!
finish with Kevin.
Okay.
Because you said go
we
for the
switched.
amateur.
We switched from
Because
Kevin
you started,
to
you
Phil.
interrupted me with the judges.
I'm not
stuff.
interrupting.
Let me finish.
You're saying foolish
Let me
things.
finish.
Finish with Kevin.
This is remarkable.
So
Kevin
Ke-
was remarkable.
so Kevin's-
Kevin went there, got his pro card, went to his first competition, I believe it was the Chicago Pro, won there, went to another show, I forgot exactly what show that was, won there, headed for the Olympia, all in the same year getting his pro card, all the same his first year competing, period. His first year competing, period. All the way to the Olympia, taking second place to Dorian Yates,
In his first competition.
first competitional year.
Wow.
No one's done that, though.
Incredible, incredible.
No one's done that.
Phil Heath, even though he had a meteoric, is that correct?
Yeah.
Mediocre.
Meteoric. No, it's a
Okay,
different
okay.
word.
Mediocre.
Mediocre
Everyone's French
is
these
bad.
days.
Meteoric.
Everyone's
can
French
mean
these
a
days.
rise,
Arr.
fast rise.
Arr.
Anyway, I gotta educate you about English too. Anyways, Phil Heath wins the Junior Nationals, go to the USA's, has no expectation of winning, wins the heavyweight and wins the overall, and goes into the pro ranks. Now, if you know about Phil Heath's early career, he goes on to win Colorado, wins New York, and then he had that phase where he didn't experience immediate success at the Olympia. I do think his amateur career was very successful, but I would say people were more shocked by Cedric McMillan. We thought Cedric was Lee Haney. We thought Phil Heath was this huge potential. Cedric was like incredible. Cody Montgomery, he won the Teenager National.
Cody.
He won the USA's overall, looked amazing. We thought Cody was going to go straight to the top 10 of the Olympia. It didn't turn out like that.
It's the mindset.
And Jay Cutler didn't even win the overall at the Nationals. We were talking about Willie Stalling. You know, Jay Cutler didn't have this. When you look at some of the greatest amateur careers, you got to look at Cedric McMillan, Kevin Levrone, Chris Cormier, Sean Ray, Flex Wheeler, and I think because the past, it was harder to turn pro, right? So you saw a little bit more of a higher pool of talent.
Yeah, I did 12 competitions as a teenager, and I think I was. It's not about me, but I was just saying.
It's okay.
I just put it out there,
Chris.
I'll just put it out there.
Just
Well,
that's cool.
I'll
Just
just put it
about
out
you.
there.
those are some of the greatest amateurs of all time, according to our panel. And some of the amateurs that really shocked and surprised us as pros, maybe those will come to mind as well. And maybe a couple of those that you guys said, you know what, we had bigger expectations.
Yes.
All that and more when we come right back. All right, those were some of the amateurs that did well and had great amateur careers. These are some that went on to the pro careers and just shocked everybody. Big surprises. You want to start with Dexter?
No.
Okay.
I want to start with Ronnie.
You start with Ronnie.
I get Dexter.
Because Ronnie, I met him in 1990. He was getting ready for the Texas Championships, state championships. He was still an amateur at the time. We then went on to compete against each other at the USA. He placed 7th at the USA that year. Then he went on and took 4th at the Nationals. I took 7th. He took 4th. He went to the Mr. Universe and got his pro card, win the world championships in the universe. Got his pro card. He went straight to the Olympia. Bombed out last place. Did a couple shows in Europe, always taking last place. Legs were a little small, body not there yet, almost like a giraffe style of physique at this time, just lanky. And, but he had big arms, I give him that. Went on to climb back up to some more shows. He was just competing, he liked to compete. Okay. So he was still in the era of time when he was standing with both his feet together, doing the lat spread, with absolutely looked like he was on one leg. So he wasn't very confident in himself or his poses. Wasn't a good poser at all, but very strong. He started to gain weight. He started to get bigger. He stayed at it, guys. He stayed at it. And bodybuilding is not all about winning right now. If I don't win, then I'm gonna not compete. If I don't get where's the money? This stuff. Everyone was competing and getting better. We would compete to improve, not to. It's not a wins and losses ratio type of thing. It's not like that. Getting wins under your belt comes along with the experience. You get the experience from doing all the different shows, going from country to country as we were. he slowly started to get better. Slowly started to get better. He's climbing up. He's getting closer. And now he's finding himself beating people like myself, beating people like Flex Wheeler, beating people like Kevin, you know, and everyone knows all about his rise from 17th. And I didn't take, you know, I didn't complain when I took 14. I didn't complain when I took 13. I didn't complain when I took 12. I didn't complain when I took 10th. And he didn't complain when he took 7th behind me in 1997. He didn't complain, but he still stuck. He stuck with it, went to Europe. He started placing ahead of us. All of a sudden, he shows up at the Olympia and wins it. 1998, wins it in, where were we at? At the Madison Square Garden, New York City. He wins his title. And that right there, no one's seen coming. No one can ever have seen that coming. And, you know, a star was born. He came out of his shell and blossomed into one of the most, I mean, they call him Big Nasty for a reason. He was big and he was nasty. Go.
Oh, it's nice, Chris.
Thank you. I didn't complain.
I didn't complain. Can you do that accent again?
I didn't complain when I took 17th. I didn't complain when I took 14th.
That's good.
And he, okay.
We were at the Fit Expo and we interviewed Ronnie, and they're close.
Yeah.
Ronnie really liked Chris, which is surprising. Not a lot of people do. Dexter Jackson turned pro at the North Americans as a light heavy. When that happened, the North Americans was not as prestigious as the Nationals and the USAs. You look at the people that turned pro at the USAs: Phil Heath, Chris Cormier, Derek Lunsford, Flex Wheeler. I mean, those are like Mr. Olympia, high caliber of Brandon Curry of prospects. You look at the Nationals, you have Jay Cutler, Kevin Levrone, you have Sean Ray, we have Lee Haney. And then you look at the North Americans, and you got Frank Zane, who turned pro at the North Americans. And then there's this guy who started competing as a bantamweight, moved up throughout the years, turned pro as a light heavy at the North Americans, and went on to be the winningest bodybuilder of all times. Do you know who won the light heavy at the North Americans in the last 5 years?
No clue.
You know, I mean, besides Frank Zane and Dexter Jackson, we don't really have a recollection, but you talk to me about who won the light heavy at the USAs and Nationals. I can name Al Augusta at the National, Brandon Ray at the Nationals. At the USAs, I can name Richard Jones, Mark Dugdale. So he came out without any hype. There wasn't any hype on Dexter Jackson, and it's incredible that he turned out to be the winningest bodybuilder of all time. So if you are turning pro and you're not getting any hype, look at these guys. Ronnie Coleman and Dexter Jackson. They had no hype. They didn't win immediately, but they turned out to be two of the greatest of all times.
Yeah, I could put Jay Cutler in that mix because no one's seen that coming. I mean, I would have held back on some of those tips I was giving him when he was with Muscle Tech. I really regret that now that I think about it.
Every night.
Well, why
before
do
you go
you
to bed.
have to be so bitter and resentful?
I'm not be bitter. He's
He
a
just-
Leo.
he
He's
received-
a Leo, and so I helped him.
This Leo
He was a
thing
Leo.
is so
No,
stupid.
but I was telling him. I said, Jay.
God.
I said, Jay. He took a 17th and he took a 14th when he did what show? We were just looking at that. What show was that? It was a regular show. It wasn't even a big show. Took 14th, another double-digit placing, but he was a big kid. He moved out west to try to make his dreams come true, coming from Maine. He started doing a deep tissue massage. It really opened his body up. And then 1 year later, he was going for the title. He was top 2 in the world.
Quick question. Sorry to interrupt, Tim Wilkins.
What about me?
Jay Cutler went on stage and thanked you.
Yes.
He was very
Yes.
gracious about you.
Appreciate you, bro. You know we boys.
A year
We boys.
before, Flex Wheeler was there. He didn't
Did
mention
not.
you.
No, because he got this thing. This thing. He's trying to keep me down. He's trying to keep me down. You see it. Now you see it. Now you believe me. It's this thing.
I just got to say, Tarek, you know, as much as we kid you about your memory of the 1997 North Americans, and
Crotches.
what color crotches they had, I'm going to stick up for you there and say, I've spent a lot of time backstage competing and as an MC. If I was ever on the ground on my little towel or my yoga mat trying to balance a rice cake and get almond butter on it, and some dude in a banana hammock next to me is asking me my sign, I'm going to move over about 5 feet. Are you a Leo? I'm gonna take my kosher salt, and before I
It's
squeeze it,
because
I'm moving over there.
they have a certain heart. Then you get the Arnold Schwarzeneggers. You get the Chris Cormiers. You get the what's his name? The Dominican Dominator.
Victor
Martinez. You get the call it Jay Cutlers. You get the Walkers. The Walkers of the world.
Even hearing it from Arnold
You
would
get
be
the
off-putting.
Walkers of the world.
Excuse me, I know you're enjoying the rice cake. It's beautiful. I'm wearing a green trunks, and I've got a great pro tan. What is your sign? What month were you born? Because it's very important that if you're a Leo, we should share a rice cake. So maybe you hold mine and I'll hold yours, and then we'll squirt some salt and some almond butter on it, and just take a sip from the cap of the water a trainer told us to drink. Leo, right?
Leo season.
Chris Cormier's logic, which is based on no science, indicates that if you are
A Leo.
of the sign of Leo,
Yes.
you have higher chances of succeeding
Tom
in
Brady.
life. So, you know, I know our viewers are
Barack.
extremely intelligent.
Barack.
Please comment
Bill.
on here and let me know if you think
You could
that
be a
makes
president.
any sense or Chris Cormier should be drug tested.
Bill Clinton.
Whole thing leaves a bad taste in my mouth, Chris. Guys, thank you as always for watching Flies By. I hope you enjoyed the show. Like, comment, share your favorite coach, athlete, beef. Share your favorite amateurs of all time.
Favorite Leo.
Your
Let's hear
favorite Leos. Throw that in there.
it. Comments, questions.
As always, thank you for joining us.
rebuttals.
Tarek.
Great to be here. I'm not a Leo and I'm very happy in life.
Leo season coming up. Share, comment, and tell me if you're a Leo.
Real deal, Chris Cormier. Tim Wilkins for Primetime Muscle. We'll see you next time.